What's that noise? That sound of tiny paws racing across the hardwood floor. What could it be? The answer: the Zoomies. The term Zoomies is a nickname for the habit many cats have of racing up and down the house as fast as they can, seemingly for no reason at all. Cats can seem a little nutty, and this behavior is a perfect example of something that can make humans think they're a bit crazy. After all, there's nothing wrong with that. But is that the only explanation for the Zoomies, or is there more behind this behavior? In this video, we're going to look at 9 explanations for the dreaded Zoomies, including 5 that are directly linked to your behavior. Explanation 1. Sometimes the simplest explanation is the right one. One of the most common reasons your cat may race up and down the house is an excess of pent-up energy. House cats sleep for much of the day, a legacy of their wild ancestors who needed to conserve energy so they could hunt more efficiently. But hunting down and killing a little bowl full of kibble doesn't exactly take much energy. As a result, your kitty ends up with plenty of energy to burn. And why not burn it all by racing around the house like a little maniac? There are much crazier ways to do it. Explanation 2. Speaking of hunting, another explanation for the Zoomies is that your kitty may be chasing something. Don't worry, you don't need to start checking for mice every time you see them racing up and down the house. If they are chasing something, it's probably an insect, but it's just as likely that they're chasing absolutely nothing. Cats often play at hunting with all kinds of toys. They may bat little balls across the room with their paws and then chase after them, or try to catch the light from a laser pointer. So, chasing imaginary prey isn't all that different. In fact, the prey may not even be imaginary, even if it isn't an insect or a toy. Cats' eyes are highly sensitive to changes in light and can detect subtle shifts that we can't see. This is thought to explain the creepy, feline habit of staring into empty space as though they've just seen a ghost. It could also be what they're chasing when they race through the house. Explanation 3. For some reason, many cats insist on taking a high-speed victory lap after successfully using the litter box. Scientists aren't sure whether this is simply their way of celebrating a job well done, an expression of relief after finishing their business, or even an attempt to relieve an itch or some discomfort. They may literally be trying to shake off a little bit of poop stuck to their fur. So, if you value your carpets, you may want to keep an eye on your cat's butt when they do this. If your cat races up and down the house after every trip to the litter box and seems especially frantic or uncomfortable, you may also want to have them checked by a veterinarian because, in rare cases, this behavior can indicate parasites. Explanation 4. One of the most frustrating things about the Zoomies is the time of day when they can happen. Your cat has the entire day to race up and down the house as if they were training for the next Olympics, yet they often decide to put in those extra hours of practice at night. As a result, you're left trying to sleep through the nighttime racket of little paws racing around the house. The fact that it happens at night is exactly what explains this behavior. Unlike humans who are diurnal and most active during the day, cats are crepuscular, which means they're most active at dawn and dusk. Of course, they're active during the day as well. After all, that's when you spend time together. However, they don't limit their activities to daylight hours. Just as you're likely to find your furry baby napping during the day, you may also see them, or much more likely hear them, racing around the house at night. Explanation 5. Bang. One of the most likely triggers for an episode of the Zoomies is a loud noise. Cats are terrified of loud sounds. Their hearing is much more sensitive than ours, so noises that already sound loud to us can seem deafening to them. Cats also evolved in an environment where they lived alongside many dangerous predators. That's why they like hiding in boxes or perching in high places, and it's also why loud, unexpected noises frighten them so much. If you accidentally drop something and your kitty blasts off like a rocket, the reason for that particular episode of the Zoomies should be fairly obvious. If you're enjoying the video, hit the like button because it really helps me out and keeps YouTube recommending my videos to you. Explanation 6. Cats love attention, and normally, we're perfectly fine with that. After all, who doesn't want to spend some time spoiling their furry little baby? But sometimes humans have other things to do and may be too distracted to give their kitties the attention they clearly deserve, meaning all of our attention. Every last bit of it. So, how can a cat make sure they become the center of their caregiver's attention again? By being loud and obnoxious, of course. Racing up and down the house and perhaps even bumping into some poor human who happens to get in the way, accidentally on purpose, is a great way for your cat to get that precious attention. Afterward, they may even receive pets and treats as a reward. Explanation 7. Cats are very good at picking up on the energy of the humans around them. As with all pets, this ability is quite important to their survival. Without the ability to tell when we're happy or sad, they wouldn't be nearly as successful as pets. This doesn't mean that we humans would simply kick our kitties out of the house if they weren't so good at understanding our feelings. Stick insects remain popular pets after all, and they have no emotional sensitivity whatsoever. Even so, cats probably wouldn't have achieved the enormous worldwide popularity they enjoy today. One effect of your cat being on your wavelength, however, is that they can tell when you're excited and full of energy. If you're thrilled because you received a job offer or met someone you may be falling in love with, your cat will probably pick up on it and choose to share that excitement by racing up and down the living room. Explanation 8. An episode of the Zoomies can also be a great harmless way for a cat to express frustration when things don't go their way. You had to disrupt their daily routine. Zoomies. You didn't give them a bite of the delicious food on your plate for the completely silly and pointless reason that they probably wouldn't even enjoy it, and there was a good chance it would make them sick. Zoomies. You had to take them to the veterinarian. Zoomies. These protest Zoomies may seem like the feline equivalent of marching up and down a picket line, but they're more like what happens when you come home after a hard day at work and decide to go for a run to work off your frustration. The goal isn't to annoy you out of revenge. That's simply a very convenient side effect. The real reason is that they need to burn off all that excess energy somehow. Explanation 9. The cutest reason your furry baby may have an episode of the Zoomies every now and then is that they're incredibly excited. Excited about what? You may be wondering? You, of course. As you go about your ordinary day-to-day life, it can be easy to forget that to your kitty. Whether they like to admit it or not, you're the most important person in the world and also the most powerful person they know. To them, you're like a combination of a major celebrity, the president, and God. So, is it really surprising that they get a little overexcited when they see you coming? Think of the Zoomies your kitty gets when you walk through the door as the equivalent of a child jumping for joy because mom or dad came home from work. Now, you already know that your cat loves you, but are you sure your cat truly trusts you? In the video on your screen, I explain 5 things your cat may do that show they trust you deeply. Click the screen and stay with me in the incredible world of cats.